Following Star Citizen used to be fun. Chris Roberts would bless us with crazy ideas and even crazier timelines. Features would be dreamt up on the spot, concept ships would get people to spend crazy amounts of money for a distant hope. Whole game modes would get demoed to us and then forgotten about for years. Roadmap updates would hype up the community only for the inevitable disappointment. Now, you could make a very good argument all of those things were actually harmful for the project, but at least they got the people going.
It gets the people going.
In 2023, it feels like we're on life support. CIG just want us to wake up for Citizencon in October. There's a very good reason for that, which we'll get to, but first let's look at how CIG have let the excitement ball drop this year. Ship sales, patches, and communication have all been about as exciting as a box mission. CIG's approach to ship sales seems to have changed. They seem to want to push less concept ships and more ships that are either flight ready or will be ready relatively soon. This year we've had the Scorpius Antares, which probably took about no dev effort whatsoever, the Fury, which is very small, and the Tumbril Storm. None of these options raise the pulse. This is probably a better approach. The alternative is concept ships with a long wait until they release. Can I introduce you to the Banner Merchantman? But small ships and ground vehicles are obviously not as exciting to the community as crazy capital ships with dreamt up features, and they do bring in less money. We could have a debate about whether ships should be exciting to backers, but the reality is, for a huge chunk of the community, the game now is buying new ships. The funding in 2023 is still very good, but on track to be lower than last year. I'm pretty sure CIG are banking on Citizencon to fix that, but we'll come back to that in a bit. Let's talk about patches. 3.18 was an exciting patch on paper. Persistent entity streaming was a technical game changer, but it hasn't transformed gameplay. Salvage is a great addition to the game if you have a Reclaimer or Vulture, and racing was fun for a bit. 3.19 gave us tractor beam attached and detached and some salvage missions, all very nice, but now as I sit here 3 months after it's released, it's fair to say that most people's interest has dried up. Then we come on to 3.20. 3.20 looks like the lightest PU patch we've ever had. All of the Arena Commander stuff is going to be fun. I'm personally looking forward to the Star Marine updates, but there is almost nothing in the PU that is going to motivate me to play. The patch seems to be very early in the Evocati process, so it's possible we'll see some additions, but CIG haven't given any hints about anything else coming. And really, CIG haven't communicated about anything for quite a long time. The last letter for the chairman, at the end of 2022, had some pretty bold claims in it. This coming year is going to be a huge one for Star Citizen, possibly the biggest one to date. Well, so far, that doesn't ring true. We are aiming to put static server meshing and pyro into the hands of players in the fourth quarter of 2023. There are a load of caveats that came with that one, and I didn't really have any expectation or hope that that would happen, but that is the last official communication we've had about it. That is a problem. Since this letter, we've had the launch of 3.18, which has likely set back all the server meshing stuff by months. We've still not had the promised 3.18 or 19 post-mortem post where CIG go through the patch, how it was released and everything they learned. We've had one ISC episode on server meshing with a promise of a follow-up. That follow-up is nowhere to be seen. And in general, ISC has gone into a coma until Citizencon, as Disco Lando explains here.
It's Q3, and if you've been following this show in any of its incarnations for a while now, you know that the road to Citizencon is a very interesting one for our weekly video content, as we skillfully avoid all the hot topics being saved for the big, now 2-day event, and use that challenge as an opportunity to explore aspects of our development that might otherwise never get a chance to shine.
The weekly shows at their best bring excitement. You get the YouTube notification that a new episode is out and immediately want to see what insight you're going to get into the game. But as it stands, CIG have made a conscious decision not to cover anything interesting. And they do this every year. They are holding things back until Citizencon, but this year it does feel worse. So, we've got boring ships, boring patches, and a complete lack of communication. Why aren't CIG trying to keep us engaged and interested in the project this year? Well, it might be to do with a little something called Starfield. For all the anger and frustration directed towards the marketing team at CIG, they are not stupid. In the past, I've jokingly said that they're the best team at CIG. The funding model has worked better than anyone could have possibly imagined. Funding continues to rise each year. We might not like some of the marketing and funding practices, but we have to admit that it's working. So, In an imaginary meeting at the start of the year, when all of the CIG bigwigs sat down to discuss the plans for the year, they must have been aware that Starfield was going to dominate the gaming landscape when it came out. If Starfield is even 10% as successful as Skyrim, it's going to be massive. Articles, videos, streams, discussion, the space game genre is about to be flooded with Starfield content. I wonder how many of us have seen the new Mission Impossible movie. It released a week before Barbie and Oppenheimer and got completely swallowed by those two movies. In the same way, there is simply no point CIG releasing an amazing 320 patch. Any hype or marketing they do is going to get swallowed up by Starfield. But one thing is for sure, they are going to go big at Citizencon. Citizencon is a month and a half after Starfield's release. In that time, the initial hype and excitement around the game will start to tail off. There will be less articles and videos made, many players will have finished the game. But imagine that crucial word. You open up your favourite gaming website or YouTube and you're bombarded with content about this crazy, ambitious looking game called Star Citizen. This must be what CIG are thinking and planning. They would be absolutely insane not to try to ride the wave of Starfield's success. I'm expecting CIG to go big at Citizencon this year. I'm expecting hype, I'm expecting big ship sales, and like many others have said, I'm expecting some sort of squadron update or sizzle reel similar to what we've had in the past. I'm expecting Pyro, again, but I think we're likely to see the full system in-game this time. We'll likely have something on the Maelstrom damage system, we'll probably get something on Vulcan, we might even see a server meshing demo. Chris Roberts will probably give us some tentative schedule for a 4.0 release sometime next year, and this will probably be proven wrong. The event will be flashy, it will be exciting, it will get the people going again. This event is a way for CIG to press reset on what has been a pretty lacklustre year. Resetting is what CIG do. If you've been following this project for a while, you'll be familiar with the cycle. The game has high, exciting moments followed by long periods of time where we don't know what's going on, CIG refuse to talk to us, people get angry on Reddit, and then a new patch or letter from the chairman comes along and we're all excited again. What's happening this year is normal practice for CIG, but I wish it wasn't. I personally don't believe that this feast and famine model of marketing and communication does anyone any favours. CIG are going to cram so much hype into CitizenCon, there's going to be hours and hours of content to consume. I think they'd just be better spreading it out. I think a Vulcan update would be fine in an all ISC episode. Even the Maelstrom damage system, that would work in a weekly show. What is the issue if ISC is really good? But we have to save content for Citizencon. Well, how about we make Citizencon a good one-day event rather than stretching it out over two then? I'm not the first to say any of this stuff, I won't be the last. CIG seems to be pretty content with the way things are. All their numbers are heading in the right direction, why change what is working for them? But for someone who just wants to follow the game, I'd prefer to be engaged all year round. I'd prefer not to be asleep until Citizencon. This isn't normal content from me. Normally I'm about technical stuff, testing, how does your PC run in Star Citizen. So if you like that sort of stuff, subscribe, come over to the Discord. Thank you for watching, and a massive thank you to the members.